Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Weekend Frivolity. This is our Broiler Chicken Show. Bok, 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 bok. Let's see, is it working on YouTube? RationalInvestor.com. Yay. And where are we here? It is Sunday, April 25th. Wow. Already marching all the way through April now. I think the American zero tax deadline was pushed out to the middle of May, but Canadian zero tax deadline here, of course, is the end of the month. And that probably explains a bit of what we're seeing here in the market of late, which, really doesn't surprise me at all. In fact, I found it rather amusing. Canadians right now are asking why they have to pay taxes on all of the free money that they got last year through CERB. It never ends. Don't you understand? The only reason why you got the stimulus was because the government can't miss those tax receipt payments. So they borrow a whole bunch of money, give you this quote-unquote stimulus and free money, but what they really need is they need to make sure that they get their tax revenue that they're expected to get to meet the bankers' tax, because, of course, the bankers, they're the ones who are actually driving the bus here. And you better make damn sure you make your interest payments on those debts, or else they will foreclose. Not a big surprise that there's going to be a bit of a pressure here on making damn sure you pay your taxes. Since the U.S. deadline is, I think it's the middle of May, if I'm not mistaken. And Mr. Biden, of course, is coming out and saying he would be in favor of raising tax rates down in the States, and market, of course, never likes to hear about having to pay higher taxes. I think that's your backdrop of what's going on of late. I did take a nice week off there, and it was awfully nice just to disconnect for a while. And I see basically the site and the community is just humming along nicely. It was good to disconnect, and I like to do that every once in a while just to force myself to stop talking. It's difficult, trust me. And then also, too, what I like to do is I actually like to take the time and really immerse myself in my son's life as much as I can, although I'm not really doing as much as I would like, but... whenever you live in, a special needs world, low functioning ASD, it really puts a perspective on how completely meaningless all of this silly money nonsense stuff really is. But at the same time, too, we do live in this world, and unfortunately, bills have to be paid, taxes have to be paid, whatever. Really, it's incumbent on myself, and really I ask all of you, and maybe this is something Kevin and I can think about, is I've been spending the past 5-10 years or so just doing this kind of out of charity, and don't charge a hell of a lot for the education programs, and these shows and stuff on YouTube are free and stuff. But with Liam, and I've told you guys before that my big sort of goal for the end of this year is I need to buy housing for Liam to make damn sure that he's got a place to live guaranteed for the rest of his life, and he's not going to just become some sort of number in the system that gets shuffled around. So that's huge priority for me. What I really like and what I'm hearing is, number one, the people that we have in the community are rock solid, and they're making some fantastic returns, and they're starting to finally see the fruits of their labors. And the problem with capitalism and the problem with making money from trading, that kind of stuff, is you really have to go through a full cycle where, when it's the it's the, they always say it's darkest before the dawn, right? Well, that's actually when you have to step in and start actually accumulating. So that means that while everybody in the public is rah bear and just, suicidal, we're actually in there buying stuff. And then you have to have the patience and discipline to wait for, silly like public figures to come and promote the assets that you bought when nobody was even the slightest bit interested in this stuff. And they bid these prices up because they have incredibly powerful social influence to levels that are just staggering, and you're just boggled at what happens. And of course, one of the great parts of this is hearing all these people telling me, Brian, thank you so much for getting me pointed in a great direction. This has turned into a 1 or 2 year investment that has literally become life-changing. And now, I've gone and done crazy things like paid off mortgages and paid off debts and paid off girlfriend's student debts that she thought she was going to be labeled, straddled with for the rest of her, working days. But all of a sudden, mysteriously, they're gone. Those are the beautiful stories I love to hear that make all of this worthwhile. So I'm wondering, first and foremost, I have, and in my absence in the past week, I also heard too that the content on the daily briefs was top notch. The community members really bringing it. Our course instructors now, man, it's beautiful. You know what? It's beautiful to watch good traders trade. It's poetry. And we have a little day trading room, and our level 1 and level 2 instructors basically are in there daily, just day trading, just doing their shit. And man, it's such a privilege just to sit there and hang out with them. Like I said, of late, it's tough to get people schooled up in the art of options to the point where, first off, of course, they drive home to the public that options are extremely dangerous and you can lose a lot of money really quickly. So you better fucking respect this market. So I think I got, what's great is my current sort of, I hope, instructor in trading for level 3, Zach. Actually, I got him to the point where he's writing what I would consider a full business plan, a full business model, a value stock picking newsletter. So what better person to scare the crap out of people of trading options than a guy who's a value stock picker? I mean, that's perfect. So I like to do these little disconnects every once in a while just to see whether this place has got legs, just to see whether it's got traction. Really that's a function of our community and, the school teaching education program. That's a function of, what do our traders actually do? Is it just Brian blah, 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 or do we have like an actual community of people that are just bringing it day in, day out? So super, super pleased to see the community just humming along doing its thing. So proud of you guys. Also too, of course, you can see on the screen here, I went into partnership with this gentleman about 4 or 5 years ago to build out sort of the 21st century version of my 1980s algorithm that I built, teaching myself how to computer program years and years and years ago. And I think he's gotten pretty damn close to the finish line. Not only in giving us sort of broader market information, things like the breadth of the market, and I think this was an absolute perfect tell that if you just respected the fact that the breadth of the market was breaking down here last week, that we should be just in sort of cool your jets mode. Or just identifying what are the strongest and weakest assets within your respective market. And, if you're a day trader, if you're an algorithm trader, then you want to point your algos at the outperformers and underperformers. Sjord's still working away on his little day trading algorithm model. It's a work in progress, but I think super value added service. And ironically enough, it's this one widget that Sjord actually got involved in this project to begin with. And our goal was that Sjord have this up and running and just working away. And that's a subscription model just unto itself. Then, as I said, I have a number of technical analysis models. Like in our level 1 program, I really want to teach you 2 key concepts: the idea of trend continuation trades. And in the level 1 program, we teach you this setup called the bot, which is nothing more than a trend continuation setup. And now, if we juxtapose, and the bot setup itself does nothing more than just identify levels. If we juxtapose now momentum price analysis signals, and then if you have that bot matrix kind of thinking in the back of your head, these 2 signaling systems work just beautifully hand in hand. And a great example of that recently was this Luna here, which of course is one of Sjord's favorite cryptocurrencies. And he actually came out and formally recommended this idea recently to the community. Way down here, and Sjord, you rock star. Jesus Christ, the guy's gonna be stinking rich. But it's just fascinating that my sort of trend continuation signal, hopefully everybody sees like W's in here, and look at all these beautiful W's and momentum signals, right? And the computer just tells you to, okay, you better pay attention to this. Now, how you specifically trade that, it's entirely up to you. But what I think, and what I want my students to have is just a nice spoon-fed list. Hey, you're interested in spending some money in the marketplace? This happens to be coming up on the screen today, and you tell me, was that a half-decent signal? Right? I'm chicken poop by nature, so I like ideally 3 lows to work with, but hopefully everybody can see this very well-defined W, and actually a beautiful little fractal right in here, and that was the signaling candle right through there. So the point of the matter here is that we've got now the computer itself, which is very hard to do, trust me. So the signaling bar was right there. Computer says, hey, pay attention. Luna's about to do something big. And sure enough, that was a pretty good signal. Considering the way crypto's been acting right now, well, it's not bad. So that's one particular setup that I want new people to trading to try and learn and understand this idea of trend continuation. And then the second setup that I love, of course, is this idea of hunting the bottom ends of ranges, and just looking for assets that have fallen appreciably, and they're starting to W out, and indicators are starting to look good and stuff. And gee whiz, there's just some fantastic. It's interesting all of these downs are all spitting out signals. We did have some really cool little signals that came in on some of these. What I wanted to show you, and don't know whether I really want to get into the signals per se, but what I wanted to show you was I just posted them in the lounge. Let's see, where's the best place to show you this? And of course, these will all be subscription services and stuff as we go further and further along. But just perusing through that list, I posted some of the ideas to the room here this morning. This is versus BNB, but wouldn't it be cool to just like open up your email and get a nice little signal? Hey, you probably ought to pay attention to this thing Wing out here. You see right where that bar, and this was back a month or 2 ago, and holy bejesus, look at that. That's the kind of shit that I want to get in my email. So, and what was so cool was, we even had one in here I was showing the boys. Look at these signals. They're just so killer. This was OMG. Beautiful signal. Sending notes and stuff to Sjord. Look at this. And, of course, I love my key reversals. And very rarely do you ever see key reversals in crypto. But we got one here on this XREP And look at, I mean, this is what I really like about this kind of system is let's say we, no, somebody posted a comment about Doge over there on YouTube, so now I'm all distracted. But, the point of the matter here, 52-week range, you see this happens to be a moving average. I'm not quite sure exactly which one this is. But the point here, we're down at the bottom end of the range. You can see the W, and then you get this key reversal signal, right? I mean, gee whiz, that's the kind of stuff that we want to see, right? You go and buy this thing, and it just charges. I mean, and this is in crypto, so a lot of you people that are watching this, I mean, when I get key reversal signals, holy fromolies. So what I have to say is I don't know how close, we'll get another update from Sjord tomorrow on how close he is on having the different subscription packages up and running. I think we're sort of thinking like 4 different tiers. So there'll be like the basic, 30-day free trial, which will just be a really simple, maybe we have like just really simple screeners like moving average cross, death cross, golden cross, that kind of stuff. In fact, I think in our, you can see I've sort of thought about how I'd like to have these things set up. I think we should also have one that's specifically for the students, like I said, that would just spoon feed these kind of setups, technical driven criteria setups to you as you move through the course. And of course, good old Q reversals, Brian, how much he loves those. Also, too, what I've been noticing, and I'm very impressed with this, is starting to see the weekly signaling system starting to fire. So these will actually give you really, really good trend following signals. And I'm keeping a close eye on how this is developed over time. But nonetheless, basic 30-day trial. And I think we even have, if I'm not mistaken, I think there's like free screeners. I think everybody can access right now, the community screeners like these and TRI screeners and stuff. These would be the kind of things, Davo. Wonder how Dav's doing here. I suppose hopefully he's still on Ethereum. I think it's still doing pretty well. These are different. There's actually key reversals. I didn't even know we had that publicly available. You lucky bastards. I don't know whether I would be having this in the free, because frankly speaking, I've never seen anybody else on the internet give key reversal signals like I showed you on that XRP. But they're just shit, man. I mean, we should be charging $100 a month just for that alone. But anyway, the point of the matter, I'm being awfully long-winded. Here goes Brian, long talking again. We're pretty close to giving you different subscription models and what's available in each of them. Once that's up and running, I have a distinct goal. My goal, and it's sort of one of the things that will get Liam his house, is I'd like to see a good 200. I think our goal is 250 subscribers to things like the key reversal screener signaling system. And it's going to be sort of like my job over the next 6 months to show you signal after signal after signal why this is so valuable, and why I would highly encourage you guys to join the site, subscribe to the site, and subscribe to our signaling system that we've put together here. So that's a big focus for us going forward. In the interim, the great part about what we do at TRI is we're pretty much an open book. And we actually really encourage a lot of sort of public participation. And like through the lounge, it's great. Like I said, I was away for the past week, so I was really curious as to see whether the site would actually have any traction in my absence. And, I would say just even the lounge information itself is just incredibly valuable as people just sort of share ideas, what they're seeing in the marketplace. So I think that's, in itself, like 30-day trial, I noticed a lot of people come in, they sort of look around, kick the tires. I mean, we have great resources like our library, for example. I mean, there's so many links. You could literally spend, and I've known there's some people that have come onto the site and they're literally willing to subscribe to the site just for access to like all of our different setups and, video lectures on the different setups, or, our very thorough, documentary and how markets work and market psychology and all of our old, we got, we got probably 100, 200 hours of just Coinergy videos links in here as well. Like everybody who comes to the site. I don't know whether Fjord set you up on a generic dashboard or not, but we have basically a daily brief that we do in our video recordings. That's like, it's a good hour, 2 hours every single trading day of the week. And there's Brian's weekend show. So you can see just even while I was going, Fjord had a presentation. I guess, no, here's Fjord, because I guess I missed last week's Broiler Chicken. So you can see everybody was just doing their presentation. Kevin's in here. Johnny Salmon. I heard people really like Johnny Salmon's reports. Totally awesome. Thank you, sir. Daniele and Kiran, they're sort of like our 1-2 punch of day traders in the day trading room. And of course, like I said, Kiran is our level 2 instructor. This place is just so awesome. I'm so proud of all you guys. I'm so proud of Fjord for hanging in. And I have to say, Julian, actually, I think he made it. But I think Julian came down with the COVID, and I think he survived. Phew. Now I'm the only one, the three of us, that's left to be hit. So do I get my vaccine in time, or do I go through the torture too? Who knows? But I will say, Julian, excellent business manager, even in his sickness. And anybody who's had this knows how bad it is. He was still trying very diligently to stay on top of things. So very proud of him for that. And I'd have to say that I really like the prospects of TRI going forward. Whether Brian's here or not. I think probably I am the best cheerleader for this place. The only reason why I say that is because, of course, I've been doing this forever. I have made a pile of money, so it's not really like I have anything to prove. I can just talk to you calmly from a position of strength. And, of course, I've been actively trading and commentating on this crypto market now for, I would say I've been teaching this crypto market day in, day out now since the summer of 2014. So, ironically enough, a lot of the sort of newer people to this space don't have half of the fucking screen time that TRIers have in crypto. And there's nothing you can tell me. You see my Twitter front page. This is my personal page. If you're watching this and you're kind of like, who is this clown? That's me, Brian. And actually, that's such a cool image that one of our OGs, Jamie, got made up for me, and a lot of people like it. They've actually given kudos. So, Jamie, if you're watching this later on, people love that. But, this image right here, to me, this is actually the real crypto. Although a lot of people in crypto don't want to admit that, which sucks. So if you don't understand what this image is here, then I would actually say you don't really know the internals of crypto. Having said that, there's a lot of good people that work in this space. But, because we're dealing with money and stuff around money, there's a lot of these people. And, half of my job, like I said, TRI is an open book. I don't have a problem. I'll go in. I had a whole bunch of stink bids and stuff working while I was gone. I actually did a bunch of buying. I don't mind telling you what I buy. In fact, I even put a tweet out today saying, I don't care if you buy this or not. I'm not here to make any money on whether Mr. Justin Sun pulls off the next best thing since sliced bread. Really, I don't care. What I care is, okay, are we going to get enough buyers to come in here to push this damn thing up so that it's twice my purchase price and I can sell some and, of course, make money? Right? I mean, that's all I care about. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people in this space that, it's like... You have to question yourself. What the hell are their alternatives, right? That's going back to this stupid guy. I mean, why is this guy actually in this space? And I hate that. I hate that about capitalism. And it's no different. Please understand this. Everybody who's watching this, this is no different than the stock market. None whatsoever. None whatsoever. Same what's the I don't want to say oh darn. I want the perfect analogy here so you can really understand it. It's so important that you understand this. This is exactly the same game. There is no difference than my experience with what they used to call the paper hangers. Anybody know what a paper hanger is? If you know what that reference is, then this guy is a crypto equivalent of a paper hanger. What I'm a little bit worried about is when you go through phases of the market, and it's kind of like, how do you describe it? It's like that movie, The Perfect Storm. I see you guys are happy over there on YouTube. I try not to look at YouTube because half the time you get downvotes and you're like, why on earth is someone downvoting? So I don't really like to look at. In fact, I'll put the OBS right over the votes so I can't see. But let's see what you guys are saying over there. Hello. He is in Dubai. All right, well, that's good. Doge will buy all houses. Doge. Yes, but the question is, does it have to go back down to 30 sats first? And then the question really is, it goes up to a lot of money, but is it real? I mean, if Doge goes to, it's tough to say the equivalents, but, I like to use Bitcoin. Bitcoin goes to $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 a Bitcoin. But a loaf of bread goes to $100 at your grocery store. Is there really any difference? Oh. Yeah, I mean, the issue with Doge, where do you start with Doge? I mean, what I would strongly suggest you do is ring the goddamn register as the thing goes up. Don't get caught bag holding. And then if the market does afford you the opportunity to reload on serious dips, I think it lost like 50% of its value here over the past week, didn't it? So I mean, if it goes down 50% from the peak, hey, might as well buy them back. But and just be careful. If anything, that Doge was a perfect analogy of a frothy top. I wanted to give you just a little bit of an update on sort of what the site is doing. Like I said, I'm super proud of the community. I'm telling you, you want to learn how to trade, get your fucking ass here over to TRI and just get to work. I mean, it's just that simple. I don't know how to make this a simpler sales pitch. And like I've even told the boys, I am so... well, take it easy, Ray. It's awfully nice to see you again, bud. I'm so impressed with the team and the depth of knowledge here. I'm just like, because actually somebody on Twitter, one of our OGs was like, man, if I was Brian, I would shill the shit out of this place. And before I was kind of like, well, I don't want it to be just Brian and just Brian Beamish and just Brian's voice, Brian's picture, Brian. And then, of course, you get it shilled all over the fucking world. The problem with that is, what's that 15 minutes of fame is over, what happens on the other side? And that's what I'm always worried about, is what's the worst case scenario. So now that TRI really isn't Brian, but it is this robust community, but I know the information works and I see all these people being very successful. What I saw over the past week was a lot of people kind of went, And if anything, this is exactly why I built TRI. In fact, I even saw through the week, Sjord was commenting on the lounge that, gee whiz, I'm actually surprised at how calm the lounge is and how calm everybody is at TRI, because, so fucking what? I mean, assets go up, assets go down. If you take appropriate risk, then if a market goes up or down, so what? Worst case scenario, little old ladies, they risk 5% of their portfolio on an asset. If it falls by 50%, they've lost 2.5% of their portfolio. Big fucking deal. And the funny thing is in really hot bull markets, you can double, triple, quadruple your money very, very quickly. I won't say instantly. I was about to say instantly. But the point being that, if you have to go through a period like we just went through, I got stopped out on a bot setup that I strapped on that AAVE, AAVE. So fucking what? I mean, you have to get to the point psychologically where you understand that so fucking what. You get stopped out, so what? And you just have to have the subconscious belief in yourself and your trading. And of course, the way that you get that belief is through repetition. And the way you see that is when you're banging out doubles and triples and quadruples and banging out the fucking Doge idiot trades that make just gazillions amounts of money. Then the market tops out and you have to take a 10% loss, 20% loss. Oh, well, 10% loss, 20% loss. Okay, well, so be it. They're like, you get cut by a little, 1,000 little knife pricks. But that's a trader's life. That's just the way it goes. And the most important thing here, you just got to make damn sure that when you're right and when you're on the right side of the trade, that you have the patience and discipline just to sit there in the trade and make damn sure you get paid. 2 to 1, 3 to 1, 4 to 1, fog and bomb to 1, whatever the hell it is. You have to force yourself that when you're right, you get paid for your hard work. That's hard to do. So that's what we teach in our school. It relieves the pain that I see most people in the public go through when it comes to investing. That, what do I do? What do I do? Well, this guy says it's going up. This guy says it's going down. What do I do? And then, of course, oh my God, the market just fell 20%. Ah! What do I do? Well, who can answer that? Let's see if you guys actually are with me. What do you do? If you are a professional trader, what should you do every single day? When you wake up, you refer to this. Let's see if anybody can answer that. And that's the whole point of what we do. Good. Well, that's heading in the right direction. Sedona. In the process. Good. Trade your plan. Colleen. Trade the plan. There's Colleen. Excellent. So OGers, of course, inside the hangout here with me. Nail it. I mean, the whole reason why we teach this thing called the process, the plan, build your trading plan. What are your reasons for acting? What kind of risk are you going to take? You got to do all that stuff ahead of time so that when the trades come in, you're just trading. You're not sitting there going, how much money should I risk on this? What do I do if RSI does that? If you're actually at that point and you're making investment decisions, you're toast. You're literally setting yourself up for disaster. So, I even told the boys today, I said, like, first off, with the signaling system up and running, I'm more than happy to teach level oneers bought continuation trade setups using this bullish 9 EMA cross on rising volume. I mean, we could come up with a number of different momentum signaling systems, but it works perfectly fine. And I'm more than happy to be teaching things like El Tangonators, which is the range trade setup, looking for 50% retracements for profit objectives. I'm more than happy to teach that to level oneers as basically the two setups that I want you leaving the level one education program with. Of course, those setups, and these are sort of the momentum criteria, the technical criteria that go along with those setups, are contained within your trading plan. And your trading plan, of course, is completely vetted out so that when you get this list in your email first thing in the morning, you pull up that Luna chart and you go, ooh, there's a nice W off a bot level. It looks good. I can risk 0.01 BTC on any one trade. Bought. Done. Here's my stop. Here's my profit objective. Set it and forget it. How much stress is involved in that? Not much. And that is the pain point that I need to somehow learn to convey to the public here, especially over the next couple of weeks. I see somebody there says, House of, oh my goodness. What does it say? Ouroboros. All right, House. I'll call you House for short, all right? This person just signed up for the level 1 program. So obviously either, they're feeling some sort of pain, they're confused, they're uncertain, and they've come to TRI. Either somebody told you, get your fucking ass over there and learn the process and get it done now, or I've been such a great salesman on these videos. I hope it's the latter, because I fancy myself a pretty good salesman, but I don't know. But my job over the next 2 weeks, until we get this next school term program up and running, is how do I convey that message to you? And now I'm really speaking to the YouTube audience, because people on the inside, you already know, and I don't need to shill you guys. So, help me, maybe even in the comments. And, I don't understand why people say, well, Joe Blow on Instagram has helped me immensely. And then they get like 45 replies. Oh, yeah, he's the best. Oh, yeah, he's the best. I mean, that doesn't help. I mean, what I need, and like you people watching the YouTube video, there's 1,000 people that watch these videos. Tell me, what is your pain? And let me articulate how through the school program and now through the site and through the daily briefs, through our library, through our community, how we can both address the pain and solve the pain. Because I've been playing this investment game long enough. I know if you follow the rules and you play the game correctly, this game is easy. This game is actually idiot-proof. It's just nobody wants to follow the goddamn rules. It drives me nuts. I even lay them out. 2 simple rules. You follow the rules and it's almost impossible to lose money from investing. And yet people don't want to follow the rules. All right, what do we got here? Paul says, hi, I'm new. Enrolled for May 10th from Chile, living in Thailand. Right on, Paul. Julian's over there in Thailand, so maybe you can hook up with him. I think we do have a few people in Thailand, if I'm not mistaken. I heard that the sickness is pretty bad there right now, so hang in there. Best wishes. So, you YouTube audience, help me help the public. Give me some feedback in the comments here. Well, there's 77 of you there after we're done the video. What are the pain points that the public is going through? How do we convey? Because clearly this shit works. So how do we convey to the public that we're here to help and we're not here to screw you? And like I said, I think ironically enough, I could show you images of the M1 money supply. You think that Bitcoin price is high now? Actually, Bitcoin price is actually lower than it was in 2017. even through the CME peak. I bet you guys didn't even realize that. Bitcoin price right now is lower than it was in the 2017 peak. What? It's true. So, I guess the problem here is you got to understand what the hell the backdrop of this crazy world is. I mean, you really got to understand it. It's just so nuts. And that's half of what we try and do, try and figure out this pain problem. I can tell you, just hanging out with the day traders, it's beautiful to watch them in action because they've already gone through all of this. They've done the vetting. They know what works. And then just watching them, and they have a lot of fun, and it's so easy to watch them at their craft. But they'll only focus in on high probability setups. So as a result, they're only taking trades when, the odds are pretty high in their favor, and they know that the odds are pretty high in their favor. You want to learn how to be a day trader? That's cool. I mean, we how does that go? We got an app for that. Yeah, that's right, Frederico, relative to M1. When I saw that image, somebody tweeted it out to me. I was like, you got to be kidding me. What really bothers me about that image is that the democratically elected politicians, and they're even doing it now, that's good. Yeah, I mean, also, let me finish that thought, and then I'll get on to your thought there, EK. What bothers me about what I'm seeing, and actually I put this out right here, is that most people don't realize what's actually going on here. Look at this ramp up. I mean, this is insane. But, this is the price of Bitcoin relative to the entire money stock. And Bitcoin price relative to the entire money stock in 2017, that's actually what it did. So we're not even at the old highs in relative to the money stock. Yes, Bitcoin price has gone up to like 50 G's here, but the problem is they are just issuing so much of this currency that even with the price of Bitcoin doubling, tripling, whatever, it's not moving. That was me tweeting them. Oh, way to go, Mr. Peekaboo. That was damn fine analysis. In fact, I even said, damn, son. Like, where's my reply? And you don't get, I'll tell you this. Most people in social media and stuff like that, you're not going to get me to, where the hell did it, is it gone? That's weird. Isn't that bizarre? I could have sworn, because it was off of the original one. That was my tweet. So that was a slightly different image, but I think it was off of one of these. Actually, maybe tweets and replies. I was pretty damn impressed. You don't get me to respond like that every day, Mr. What do we call you, Mr. Boo, Mr. Peak? Right here. This is Charles Hamilton the Fourth. That caught my attention, right? Damn, son. I was even like, wow. Actually, you know what? I have my coffee pot on. I don't want it to blow dry. I'm going to be right back. Another terrible sign of the times, eh? My mother bought me this little 2-cup coffee maker pot back after JoJo passed. And that was 10 years ago. It was leaking all over the place, so I was like, all right, screw it, I'll go get a new one. Remember, I'm a cheap ass. And I went and picked one of these things up. And they don't, like a Walmart or whatever, big box garbage. And the plastic is just laughable. Who knows where the hell this thing was made. And no automatic turn-off switch. So now it could it could literally burst into flames at any moment if you leave it on. What a great commentary of the world we live in, eh? Anyway. Okay, let's see. So I gave you the big shill on the website. Got to tell you, man, these signals are fucking just next level. I mean, what's so cool about this too is you can go back and just look at this over time. Look at the way Sjord's built this. It's so cool. Hey, look at that. Should we, that's a TRX down. Interesting. But there's that Luna signal. But it's so cool, like if you go back. I gotta sneeze. Now, I would be a little bit cautious with names versus BNB, just because BNB's had such an interesting time of it. Oh, look at this. A Russell 2000 ETF is perking up. I wonder where Kavarkinator is. Kavarkinator's been watching that Russell 2000 for a while, so it's interesting how we're getting a little bit of a momentum push there. Singapore looks like it's a buy. Actually, that kind of makes sense. Key Corp, I'd keep an eye on that. Hopefully when you look at this, you see lots of like trend continuation kind of price action. But what I wanted to show you was, ooh, look at that. We got a key reversal, basic fit. I don't know what the hell that is, but that definitely is worth paying attention to. Man, I wanted to show you some signals from a while ago. Ooh, look at these double bottoms. Look at that signal. Jesus, look at these things. Oh, that's the Russell 2000 again. Yeah, okay. Oh, look at that one. Oh, see, Uni BNB. See, I'd look at this. If it wasn't this BNB, I'd look at that and I'd be like, wow. But you have to be a little careful with that BNB thing, you know, because it's all over the place itself. But what I wanted to show you. Ooh, look at that signal. What's that? Comp. Oh, that's comp. I think that's a crypto, eh? No, oh, there's that Luna. Jesus, what a hell of a... Look at that thing. Pax. Oh, that's another one of those BNBs. But isn't this a cool shopping list? I mean, it makes your life so easy to just go and go, okay, well, let's see what's going on over here. Let's see what's going on over there. Oh, there's that Ave. See, actually, I took a setup here, but these bastards right here, they stopped me out that move down here. But what's funny about this one is actually I took two different setups on this. I traded a bot setup versus Tether over on Binance, and on that dump, they stopped me out. But I actually also have a reload zone trade versus Bitcoin on Trex going, and actually I got filled on a bid there. So actually I'm playing the market two different ways on this thing. But my short-term continuation trade got stopped out on that Ave on the dump there the other day. Ooh, that one sure looks interesting. Look at that double bottom. Definitely take a look at him. But what I wanted to show you, these are all recent signals. I know a while ago. I mean, it's so cool loading these things up over time and like looking a month or two back in time and seeing the signals. Like, look at that, eh? Oh, Jesus, nice breakout. Whoa, that one looks good. See, I love this, right? So you go, well, if I had bought that W, how would I be doing? Okay, not bad. Feeling pretty good. You know, like this signal comes in here. Do I buy this W level? Do I wait for this W? Do I buy that W? But okay, I'm still feeling pretty good. Have I got my risk levels identified? Oh, I tell you, man. Here's a good example, right, where one came in. Do I have a model? Maybe I'm risking against this W level in here. Maybe I bought the full W, but that means I got to risk the whole thing. Maybe I just bought this reversal bar and actually I'd be stopped out here. Tough to say. Now, these are the kind of things that if you go through the education program, you're going to sort of learn what sort of speaks to you as a trader. I can see a lot of these little short-term continuation trades got busted out there. Come on, oh, geez, there are so many so recent signals. I wanted to go back like a month or two. Let's see where we are. Can we go back a little while? See some signals from a while ago. These are all still pretty recent, eh? You know what I want to do? Because we haven't got all day here. Let's see. I think I showed you. There was one signal just from a week or two ago. Yeah, like this. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that I wanted to show you. So what I'll probably do is like put together maybe next week, Broiler Chicken Show. I'll put together a sort of before and after. So we were just sort of looking through signals here through April. I have to go back into March to see where the last big buy signals were and how they did. But anyway, super, super stoked about this engine. So stoked. Let's put that away for now. You guys, of course, want to know what the hell I think about what's going on in the market and Bitcoin and all that kind of stuff. Probably the best thing to do is just sort of walk through the public tweets I've done, so then that way there's nobody going, well, you said this on social media. Let's see, where is that? I guess that's over here. So let's start over here. So I came back, and of course, weekly, always the best place to start. Higher time frame. Did find it interesting that we did, basically a 1 year coast to coast. That was the beginning of March, 1 year to 1 year. And it was interesting that the market looked like it was about to break, but there was one more thing that had to happen here, I think, before the market could sort of officially start to correct, and that was the Coinbase IPO. Really good example, and what's fascinating is, I think you guys are pretty good in crypto. Because if we go back and we look at that Coinbase, you can actually see exactly where this thing is a buy. And then you can see exactly where they brought it out to market. And so as a result, we shouldn't have been surprised whatsoever in what actually happened. So the question is, there it is. So we're doing up this chart. Now it sucks. You can't even go get this chart anymore. But we're doing up this chart, and you can clearly see where the bottom is, right? And this is all the ramp up into the IPO. And the question ultimately was, where was this thing going to top out? It's interesting that this was pretty much exactly where it stalled. Maybe a little bit higher. But interesting, 4.669, foggy off of this original bottom, which to me looks legit. Then we also had this little battle zone in here, which painted 2.618. So, on balance, not really a big surprise that we stalled out here. The question was, in my eyes, okay, so Wall Street basically bid this silly thing up. I think that, let's see, how do we say this? I think that there is enough of a belief down in the United States of America that the fiat currency system is very quickly coming to an end, and that what's happening right now simply is not sustainable over time. And there must be some sort of exit strategy from this fiat currency system without the world falling into utter collapse, and chaos. So, my basic thesis, unfortunately, was 2017, 2018 was the end of a very long fear cycle apex. You never really know how these apexes of these cycles are going to play out. This is basically handing the baton off from the baby boomer generation onto the next big generational glut, the millennial generation. And what kind of society was the millennials actually going to inherit as they sort of head into their adult working years and paying into pensions and hitting peak earnings years, which will probably happen in about 10, 15 years or so. And then them going through the process of unwinding from the system and divesting as they go through their life cycle. So, unfortunately, in years gone by, and without this sort of digital internet revolution, we probably would have all just gone and buried our head in the sand, bought your gold, bought your silver, platinum, palladium, whatever, and used that as sort of the inflation proxy, and used that as sort of our, well, the bankers are going to fuck with the value of money, so we better get the fuck out of this money shit until they're finished with their nonsense, and then come back into money when they've sort of put into place what they want to have happen going forward. But I get the distinct impression that's been now replaced with this digital form of currency, fiat cryptocurrencies. What's fascinating, I think, and it's still very much an ongoing debate, is this battle of the stable coins, which is in essence in my opinion, still a bridge to that old world in fiat currencies. I wouldn't be surprised that the next bear cycle is sort of the 1% have had enough with these sort of quote-unquote stable coins. And if you do actually want to be in a stable US dollar proxy, you better be in the one that the 1% has control of in the United States market. And considering that we know that Goldman Sachs is basically running the US government from the financial side, my hunch is you probably ought to keep an eye on whatever stable coin it is that they are promoting, because that's probably the one that politically is going to win. I'd also keep an eye on guys like Joey Diamond, and if he starts touting a specific stable coin, and I could see over the next year or two all of these various other cryptocurrencies that technically want to be stable coins actually get put out of business. That would not surprise me one bit. And that's probably the FUD, if you will, that brings this cycle to an end. But that's not now. And if anything, what I think is that we had a very public event here where the asset and the whole market was basically bid up into that event. You can see this orgy started back basically in December, right? This is not something that just happened last week. This is actually the end of a very long move. And of course, who can finish how this damn saying goes? Buy when it's somethings, sell when it's somethings. So if you think about it from a very normal seasonal perspective, actually it's pretty simple. It's not rocket science what's going on here. Alright, that's good. Yeah, well, I don't mind buying, somebody says the AVE down in the reload zone. I don't mind buying that reload zone trade, but the bot continuation trade setup, it failed for me. So I had to clean up the books there. But AVE versus BTC, like that reload zone, nanny nibble kind of, low risk, little old lady approach to investing. I like that down there. That's not a terrible idea. Okay, so point of the matter here is, the public IPO event, this was the end of a very long build-up. And of course, I might make the argument that Wall Street wants to get paid. That they promoted it, I mean, Jesus. Hey, I mean, a lot of you there over on YouTube, and especially you guys here in the Hangout with me, I mean, you've watched this CNBC nonsense. Can you see how much of a corporate shill those people are? I mean, it's terrible. I mean, it's I actually first started watching CNBC, and they also had this great program down in the States called Nightly Business Report, which were public broadcasting. Well, not CNBC so much, but definitely NBR. And it was beautiful listening to people just talk markets. Well, I'm a technician. I've been doing this study for this song. This works. That. I mean, I love that kind of talk. You go on those damn shows and those TV stations right now. Oh my God, all the fucking neon and shit. I mean, it's meant to get you to buy Tide laundry detergent. That's the only reason for that channel now, and it really disappoints me. If anything, CNBC is a beautiful analogy of our society, and it's not a pretty society, in my humble opinion. In fact, I suggested to somebody yesterday that if they really want to go and look at what real life is really like, go and spend a day or two with a low-functioning special needs person. That's real. Man, there's nothing you can do to change it. It just, well, take it easy, Colin. This stuff is all, the 1% is just playing with your emotions. Try not to get too wrapped up into that. I mean, the irony of it all is if you look at this chart, you'd go, okay, well, I could probably start reloading, I don't know, somewhere around $200-300, somewhere in that area. Maybe join the original Wyckoff check breakout level. What is that? 78.6. That's $300. That sounds pretty normal, right? There you go. So Kevin Stewart says JP Morgan backing Backed, which is a crypto ecosystem created by Intercontinental Exchange. Isn't that cool, Kelly Loeffler? Isn't that chick? Isn't she Intercontinental Exchange? And the good people, and I'm so proud of the good people of Georgia. The good people of Georgia said no to crony capitalism. I'm so proud of you, citizens of Georgia. The only problem is they elected, not crony capitalists, but Klaus capitalists now. You will own nothing and you will be happy. Or you will own everything and we will try and screw you over any chance we get. So which reality do you want to live in? Oh, God. I suppose Cool Kelly's is better because at least she'll just stand there at her trading post and say, you want to buy or you want to sell? Quit wasting my time. You want to buy or you want to sell? Klaus says, you don't have a choice. I take everything that you have and you are happy. So, oh, God. This is, you can't win in this world. Can't we get some sort of happy medium? We used to live in this crazy world where people compromised. You had some people on the right that were all like, capitalism, what's the guy's name from It's a Wonderful Life? The guy in the wheelchair, Potter, right? So he's our cool Kelly Loeffler. I think his name's Potter. Or Scrooge, right? Scrooge. Another good example. So that's cool Kelly Loeffler. Scrooge, Potter's savings and loan or whatever the hell. What was it called? I think his name was Potter. Because it turned into Pottersville, didn't it? Anyway. Versus the socialists. Oh, God. I don't know. I'm not saying one's better than the other. The irony of it all is you guys actually should be able to answer this line. How do you tell when a politician's lying to you? Whether they're on the left or the right. It doesn't matter. Is there anyone? Does anybody know? Yeah, thank you, Colleen. Sad. Okay, so once upon a time, this Coinbase got bid up to ridiculous levels. I do find it interesting that when you pull up the Coinbase chart now, and I was kind of warning, the public and anybody who listens to me, which really isn't that many people, but I was trying to warn people that this crypto space was looking really, really dangerous. I think I turned on the TV and I saw that these crypto stocks were just getting destroyed last week. And I even put a tweet out going, oh my goodness, learn this, people. But this is the data that you get to work with now, so you don't even get that old chart data, which sucks horse cocks, typical capitalists, eh? But if we look at sort of lower time frame, you can see, well, here we are, $290.80. Remember, this thing came out at 400 and change? 380, worked its way up to 408. I heard somebody was even saying that they were loading up here in the $400 area. I was like, you got to be kidding me. So I don't even know if this is even bottomed yet. I don't even really see anything really solid here yet. Brian wants to see W's, all that kind of talk. And I get the impression that this is nothing more right now. It's nothing more than us just going through the hangover. This was the big party, big orgy. You know, that little guy who's in the elevator with chicks coming up and throwing panties at him and stuff like that, right? That's his heyday. And I even heard the news headlines that he was selling like $200-300 million worth of stock literally the day that it opened. Boom! Out it goes. It's like, wait a minute. You want me to buy your IPO and yet you're selling $200 million of this shit into the market today? What the hell? I think I told you, the one guy I got an immense world of respect for is good old Mr. Novogratz. Here's a great example, insider buying and selling, right? I bought a bunch of these blockchain stocks back last fall, and this one wasn't even a VCIM too. Why the fuck I sold it, I'm not even quite sure. But now I'm starting to swear, so you can see I'm back in the saddle again, eh? I was gonna try and not swear, but that didn't last too long. Oh well. But Mr. Novogratz, he came in and he actually defended his stock as it was breaking down here, and I was like, I gotta get out. I just gotta walk away. And he came in and he bought a whack of his stock. And you tell me, how's he feeling? I think he bought like 10,000 shares. Boom. Way to go. So, Mr. Novogratz, this is your bull market. You own this, man. Hats off, sir. You are the trading god. But even him, right? He's even got a bit of an ABC, bear ABCD working here now. So again, doesn't that kind of look like, oh my God, what an orgy, right? And then, where's the Tylenol? I just want to go back to bed, kind of thing. That's what that looks like to me. And unfortunately, you see it right across the board. In fact, this one had this big outside downside key reversal. And seriously, people, I mean, if you really want to learn how to trade, you got to respect. I show you bullish key reversals all the bloody time. Here's a bearish key reversal, and you can see this damn thing's just melting down from here. So, I mean, the interesting thing is somebody might look at that and go, okay, well, is that a short there? And I would say, well, not really, because, here's the top end of the range. Here's the bottom end of the range. So we just banged into that low, sort of into that low, not really, but, there's a big gap. Could we mess around here? Sure. Could we mess around here? Sure. So coming in and shorting that there is not such a good idea. But the key reversal bar, in fact, you might even argue that the key reversal bar in itself is a technical objective, and that really all the market wants to do is just replicate this range. So if we go, well, we go like 200%, make it nice and easy. So boom, let's see where that takes us. So went the wrong direction. So key reversal high to key reversal low. Are you going to work for me? Oh, there it is. So key reversal objective actually is just slamming down into these lows. So I wouldn't even be surprised if a lot of guys who actually took that. That's a very, very strong momentum signal. They probably were cashing out here. Maybe, sell half, put your stop at scratch, and if the thing does actually come back, fine, you walk away from the other half. So, and I see a lot. This is what crypto, in fact, actually this one this one here, I think I want to go buy some of this tomorrow. Because look at that double bottom right down in there. Look at these gaps, right? And I even put out messages sort of saying, man, this thing looks like Swiss cheese. At some point, it's going to have to come down, fill in all these gaps. Well, guess what that is? That's filling in all of these gaps. So I thought that was a really interesting level, and I love 78.6s. So don't be surprised if you actually hear me that I've actually gone and bought some of this tomorrow. We'll see how that goes. I'm going to keep a close eye on him. And I thought it was really interesting, and this is sort of what I mean by this space could get a little bit dangerous here, folks. Be aware of this. My hunch is that there's still probably another push higher here into the end of the year. But what I'm worried about, and I mean, a stock like this, I have no interest whatsoever in buying. No interest whatsoever. No interest whatsoever. I mean, maybe if it comes all the way back down to its bottoms, right? But here, no way. But what I'm really worried about is what this guy is actually saying into the public, which scares the hell out of me. Because Big Brother, we all know, is actually pretty strapped for cash right now, right? They're going heavily into debt. I'm hearing also too that things like our IRS and stuff like that heavily underfunded, and there's a big push for the IRS to get off its gear and go and collect some goddamn taxes. And then this gentleman, which shocked me last week, I heard him publicly say, well, you know what's going to happen is if you start dropping the hammer on capital gains, people are going to say that they mysteriously lost their Bitcoins, right? Take the private keys, go, put it onto a USB device or something and go bury it out in the backyard. And all of a sudden, and his analogy he used was, I lost it in a boating accident. It fell overboard, which is a common refrain. Which, if this kind of conversation gets traction, Big Brother's not gonna sit there and go, okay, well, fine, okay, I guess that's the way it is. I mean, they're gonna, and what scares me is that the guy who's in charge of the SEC right now, he's actually the guy that I actually sent you to. I share public videos on actually learning about blockchain and learning about crypto from a MIT. This guy's an MIT professor, and now he's chairman of the SEC. And he said, the easiest way regulators figure out whether you're bullshitting them is they just go, it's the smell test. If it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, odds are it's probably a duck. So him publicly coming out and saying, just dodge the taxes. Screw it. Just download your private keys and go bury in your backyard, whatever. How is that going to help his stock? If everybody does that. Or the dog ate my private keys. There you go. I like that one. But I got a funny feeling that if you use that excuse, Big Brother's already going to have an answer. And remember, Bitcoin's actually not really a very good asset to use if you actually want to carry out criminal activity. So they may actually assign ownership to you. Well, actually, we know that you have these private keys at this address, and we see the transaction. We're going to audit you and charge you a taxable gain on whatever that transaction was. If you tell us that you actually bought the Bitcoin at 50,000, you sold it at 51 because that's what it says on the blockchain, you prove that to us, great, okay, that's $1,000 capital gain implication, pay tax on that, please. If you say, I don't have any record of me buying it, and I lost my coins or whatever, and they still see that address shows that transaction was done at 52,000, they might assign your cost basis at 0 and give you a tax bill on the capital gain from 0 to 51,000. Just be forewarned. I think, last cycle, things like the IRS and Big Brother and stuff, I think they were actually caught a little off guard. And I think they've spent a lot of time and a lot of effort trying to get up to speed. Now, do we have another sort of window of confusion, uncertainty, and poor tracking, poor logging, poor compliance through this COVID world? I think so. I think it also helps sort of the Coinbase kind of people pump the market up as high as possible, and sort of line their pockets. What I'm concerned with is people like this. You can't, especially in being a big president of a public company, you can't come out and say things like, I'm just, they fell overboard kind of. Those statements can't stand, because if the regulators see that, then they're going to actually drop the hammer twice as hard. So, that was just something that I heard over the past week that I didn't like to hear at all. Then, the problem here is, can you come in and buy any of these kind of assets at these inflated prices and expect to make easy capital gains? I don't think so. I mean, they're expensive. This is the definition of assets getting expensive. If anything, what I'd want to see if I was a bull is, okay, fine, give me some consolidation, show me, higher highs and higher lows, and Okay, well, maybe I could trade a, good old Brian's bot setup kind of idea, trend continuation. But here, it's just too early, and there's just not enough here. And assets like this breaking new lows, well, that's technically a big M. So I don't really like the look of this stock crypto space right now. I mean, yes, we could have some wild trading. Like this asset, to be perfectly honest with you, if I was, sitting in a trading pit and going, okay, where would I buy? Where would I sell? Well, I'll draw my reload zone, showing you guys this 100 times. There's the reload short zone and the reload long zone. If we just go off of this range, what a surprise. It tagged Mountain Man, boink, 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 boink. But usually when you see this, right? Okay, there's Mountain's trade. There's Mountain's trade. All right, he's doing it. But if it falls, like, get ready. 78, like my favorite level to trade is 78.6s. And what I often find is that the market comes down, it actually goes beyond my 78.6. So I did like a little nibble right here. And I'm like, oh, Jesus. And then it'll rally back up, and then it'll come down, and I'll do a little more nibbles and a little more nibbles, maybe off of here, reload zone. And then down the road, boom, it breaks out through 78.6. I see that happen so often, it's ridiculous. So this is actually what I'd like to see if I did actually want to step in on the buy side on something like this. But frankly speaking, I doubt you're going to see that. Probably what ends up happening here is we just bounce back and forth, and really volatile. And it would make sense. Like, I like the idea. Maybe if we go backwards a little bit here. It's always so much to talk about. Never enough time. I like the idea that this market moves in like 4-year cycles. I see it, maybe 4-year business cycle, whatever you want to call it. And I've been watching this Bitcoin price literally day in, day out for like what year is it now? 21. So we'll say from 14. So that's 7 years. I've been literally watching this every single day. So I do like this kind of thinking in this space, which means that we're somewhere in, this year. Oh boy. And actually I conjectured in recent ones, I overlaid, what does our sort of 2021 end of year look like? And I overlaid, here is the 13 and here's the 17. And interestingly enough, I had kind of conjectured recently that I kind of like the idea of this being 2013. And it is interesting. Let's see if I can show it. Where the hell is that? I asked some people to show me that pie study. Because if it's one thing I love cherry pie. Oh, wait a minute. That's something else. Yeah, here it is. So I asked a couple people in the lounge this morning, because I don't have this study handy, but this is the great part about TRI. These people are so smart. So a lot of people have been really jazzed about this pi cycle top indicator. I mean, if you understand the math, great, awesome, wonderful. I think they had said that there was a signal issued here, maybe cool your jets. I really like this kind of thinking in here. And I like this sort of back and forth. Going to drive the crypto kids a little bit crazy over the next month or two with a lot of chop. We're going to set some sort of base through midsummer kind of idea and get ready for just some insane nutso end to this year. So it's interesting how that little pie sort of chart kind of study did flash a sell here, after the first quarter of 2013. And I see a lot of similarities in this space to this cycle. And of course, good old Mr. Wu. He's been, there's somebody actually wrote out the code here on TradingView. So they got the signal there. I like it. I like this signal here. And I do like sort of like a nice 6 months going back and forth. Remember I told you before, if we do get a really violent like 61.8 pullback off of this range, I think it's like totally the buying opportunity of a lifetime. And I've said that repeatedly. If anything, if you get like a really, really sharp snapback, very quick, very violent, that's actually sets up a buy. It's, of course, the public, they start freaking out, and they're actually thinking the exact opposite. And it would, of course, clean up all those silly stocks, right? Clean that up. But we're looking at the corn in particular. I guess if we just did a simple fib, boobity-boo, maybe off Kevin's low there last year. So that would be into 27,000. Interesting how there's a cute little uptrend right in there. Actually, I don't mind that thinking. You can clearly see there's going to be some sort of battle right here, right? And then if that fails, then boom, there's good old reload zones. Like I said, if you get that quick, violent push down into 61.8, that's actually a wicked buy. And interesting enough, I do have some stink bids down in here at like 25,000 just for kicks. So, if for one reason or another she does puke out here, this is the market, right? At least I got those stink bids working. You want to see a cool trade? I thought I was so proud of this fucking trade. Excuse my French. But when I do a good trade, I start to swear. So, but I sold some of that Doge up top, and don't know where I did it. Where is that chart? Yeah, right here. This is so awesome. I'm so proud of myself for this. But Doge went absolutely nuts, and it's sort of like, man, do you leave the corn sitting in Bitcoin, or do you just hop off in cash? So I saw this M come in here, and I had a bunch of Bitcoin right from that silly Doge. So I just said, I'm just gonna dump it at the clothesline level. Got cute little counter trend rallies right into that level. Got my fills, ding, 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 and ah! I was so happy when I saw that. I gotta tell you, it made me quite pleased. And fascinating how all we've done is just played in our little funny little bow tie market symmetry study here. And look how we dumped right into the bottom of the bow tie there and then rallied right back, dumped, and then look at the fight going on at the bottom of the bow tie here. So you can clearly see either we're going to, there's obviously a really cool little consolidation zone building in here. So we're either going to A, B, C, D our way lower. So A, B would be there to there. And C, D would take us sort of into these areas. And this is where Mr. Wu, all due respect, I watched one of his videos here, and it was interesting how he said sort of his coin metrics models and stuff turned bullishly in here. I have to say, on balance, looks like that was generally right. There was that Coinbase IPO, and I think the whole damn market was just bid up into that IPO event. I actually think the 1 year coast-to-coast move was supposed to stop here, but the IPO was still to be done. So, once the IPO is done, market starts topping out. Of course, interesting how Doge had that massive face rip right into that event window there. So, also, too, great analogy that usually they say the shit rallies last. And Doge, I mean, is there any better analogy of technically a worthless coin getting bid up to just astronomical levels? It's, if anything, what a perfect analogy for a stupid blow-off top market. Perfect analogy. So, once that event's done, there was the blow-off top and Doge, right? So now even Musk and, all the circle jerkers and stuff can say, look how smart we were. I still think Doge can go a hell of a lot higher, but not just yet. It's maybe a little too far too fast. Anyway, dumps down, bottom end of the bow tie, coming into Mr. Wu's area, and in his video he said he really likes this 40,000 area for sort of value. That's an interesting level, right? We're coming up against this key support line here. You can see there's some key lows. We're running out of key lows for them to run stops. So they got down here, so that's against these lows. My hunch is probably the bottom is all of these tails in here where, buyers just kept stepping up and buying in here. And then they put in this railroad tracks right off of that exact same level. So, thinking sort of market symmetry, it kind of looks like, I know this is going to be sloppy, but kind of like that. Probably have to do the same thing there, right? And odds are this counter trend rally probably right into things like reload short zones right up in there. That wouldn't surprise me. In fact, actually, Sharktoshi, earlier today we were talking about this. So what I'm concerned about with the corn, if we look at it from a little bit different perspective, this is volume profile. At any given point in time, you have to expect 38.2 retracements. Any given point in time, any bull market, anywhere. So, if we take this, this fib tool, and, if you go this rally here, right? So 38.2s, not quite into there, but nice, good. Whoops, actually that's a little bit low, isn't it? There we go, 38.2s, not bad, nice W's, away we go. How about off of here? 38.2s, pretty close, but, nice W's. John Bollinger gets all excited. Probably best to pay attention, away we go. How about up here? Well, 38.2s, in comes W's, away we go. So, whoops, I want that. How about up off of here? We're getting pretty far away from the lows. In this case, I might even do things like, say, all right, oh, come on. Always does this, Trading View. It picks like the one tool, or the one you want, always picks it last. Here, you might have been just like that range there, 38.2s. We actually, we affectionately call this, and I love this because I like to make site members famous. And you're just going to have to figure out what tools work best for you psychologically to trade best. But, in our education program, I teach you about the first stop target, which is 38.2s. And Ray Burchett, he taught it to me. We have a gentleman on the site, actually he's over on Hero Exchange now, and one hell of a social influencer. But he really likes 38.2s as kind of like, well, if you miss the initial burst and you want to get in, just wait for 38.2s. And so we affectionately like to call this now the Collins Pump Chaser Zone, which I love. I think that's great. If we can make him famous, awesome. Point of the matter here is at any given point in time, you got to think about those 38.2s. Maybe it was this kind of move. Well, it didn't quite come down into 38.2s. What is it the market's maybe operating off? Maybe there, 38.2s. So, where am I going with all this? Point here is, you saw that move up top. Could we have just done this as a 38.2? Clearly you can see market came down into this level and put up a hell of a fight. Boom, 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 boom. Even pump chasers that came in and bought, they were sitting there for a few days going, this might turn. Let's see what happens. People that are a little bit slower, you might have said, well, this is an inside bar. So if this inside bar fires bullishly, I'll jump in. And you can see that inside bar never did fire. Right? We never did go through that high. So back, continue on we go. So this 38.2 pump chaser zone didn't hold. So if that's the case, well, okay, well, where's the next sort of 38.2 pump? Come on, I hate when it does that. Where's the next one? Okay, well, and this was the levels I was drawing before. So this now 38.2 off of this range is down into this area. Now that might have been a key level for you. I could see some guys say, what, against that key low, I'll risk that window there. Bought that. I'm still not convinced that we really have enough of a bottom, kind of like inside bar, reversal, give me some sort of sign. I don't have anything here. if I am a pump chaser and I'm looking at these levels, I'm thinking, okay, well, we're at the top of value. So according to Mr. Hoagland, we should hold these and we should start to work our way back up. Usually the first test of value high sees a bit of reaction here. So it was interesting this morning. Guys like Shark Toshi on the site were posting that we just got a moving average cross, and you can see when this thing crosses bearishly, it's probably best just to cool your jets a bit and wait for the bull to come back. You could also juxtapose things like the moving average crossover with trendline breakouts. You know, we're getting bullish signals here. Maybe there's a bot. Who knows? Whatever. It doesn't matter. So, you know, if I do that same logic here and that was that high, then I got to see W start to form on the other side of this trend line. I don't like how steep that is. We really should see some sort of counter trend rally. Almost feels like we're kind of doing something like this in here. So if that's the case, you see how that high and that high correspond. What it means is the dead cat bounce probably comes back down, up into this moving average resistance, into the top of value here. Fill in this node, this notch right here, and then we find out whether this thing's for real, right? So up, down, up, down, up, down. Okay, are we for real? Are we going to break down and head lower? Or are we going to turn back up and we're a bull? So that's sort of what I think our future is right now. We're still pointing down. We're at a level where bulls could come in, but we just got moving average crosses bearishly, which actually says to me that if we get counter trend rallies up into these highs, things like good old reload zone counter trend rallies, right? If we can rally up, gee whiz, there's 61.8 Mountain Man against these highs. That's probably actually a shorting level, and that's actually what I said in the lounge this morning, is if I got a counter trend rally into these levels here, and then I started to get like inside bars, and maybe this was on a divergence off lower time frame, I'd consider that a shorting window for the sort of traders out there. Yeah, let's see, what else should we talk about here today? And I guess that's sort of the same thing here, right? What I kind of think's happening here is we had this really powerful, Kevin pointed it out a while ago, where we had two Foggenbaum levels, 4.669s, really powerful foggies. And we also had things like parking garages and stuff. Market slammed into this area, and I think this is resistance. And I get the impression a while ago that we sort of had the top of the range was 55,000, bottom in the range is 45,000. And we've just been banging around back and forth as we're trying to resolve this big honking Foggenbaum constant level here. And I don't think the market, you know, it's especially once we lost this parabolic curve, once we're at this point here, you got to be careful in here because this thing can just melt right down just like it did here. So I still think the Foggenbaum battle is underway. And then notice, like I said there just a moment ago, that counter trend rallies, if we did fibs, heading back up. There's good old Mountain Man, right up around 58 G's. Good old line in the sand. That was the original Doge sell level up there at 61. I like that as a top of the range, but I would be very, very surprised. I actually don't mind. I mean, I think there's still some funny business to be done down here, so I certainly don't have like, oh my God, you got to go home and buy this today. I wouldn't even be surprised if maybe we had a nice little FU. Remember, Tuesday, Wednesday, London kill zones. That's usually when the market pivots. So, and then we start maybe a counter trend rally into next weekend or something like that. I don't know. Just total conjecture here. And then that would sort of set up our new trading range. So maybe watch for things like bullish momentum divergences off lower time frames. Nice tight W's. Maybe you might get a nice trade set up in here. Having said that, like just as we're just looking at this right now, is there anything to do on the bull side here? Not for me. Very powerful railroad tracks, reversal, bang, bang, bang. So clearly there is some interest down at this level here. I suppose if I, silver platter setup, I would love for it to come right down against these lows, put in our little double bottom, except back above that trend line, give us a nice little buy there. Candle body lows like New York kill zone trades, first thing Monday, Tuesday morning, I'd watch down in this area. That's high anxiety. And remember, Mr. Wu is sort of sitting down here. He'd actually like to be a buyer down here, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that. One thing also, too, I could very easily see a scenario where we hold this trend line, work our way back up, but we're actually caught, right? What once was resistance turns into support, turns back into resistance. Oops, I should have, turned into support, turned into resistance, turned into whatever. Doesn't really matter. Hopefully you get the idea. And we rally back up, and we might even just do a reload zone of this range and start stalling against all this market structure in here. And that would be this wedge scenario. And this actually would be more preferred to me, is I'd love to see something like that. That would be way, way better in my opinion. So take a screenshot of that. That would be, say, they're swing traders. There might be a little trade through the week. But actually, I do like the idea of hitting sort of counter trend rallies, whatever this rally window is. It might be all the way up here. I don't know. And looking for that dump into this wedge low. And that's perfect because that's the U.S. tax filing deadline. So ironically enough, this is all about Canada right now. Who cares about Canada? The U.S. tax deadline, which is where I think you finally see your ultimate lows. Probably a lot of lows on those stocks, those crypto-related stocks. The Coinbase probably makes its ultimate low through that window there. So that's what I'm sort of trying to tell you. Don't mind the idea of counter trend rallies up into resistance. Those counter trend rallies into resistance. I really like the idea of working the trade back down into, Willie's magic number, 2.618 off of the original bottom, which makes a lot of sense to me too, because I see that often where the market will go zipping up to foggy levels and then come slamming back down to 2.618 and find support there. So that's sort of what I'm thinking here for the next little while. The interesting thing about this is one message and one message only. And that really is, this is a sideways market. It's the same damn thing that I've been saying for the past couple months. You could have gone, I remember there was some German guy who got all super insane excited about buying Bitcoins like in this area here. Okay, fine, but there's nothing really going on here. You're not going to make $1 million buying Bitcoins here. And I mean, I say those things and they just fall on deaf ears. Well, I hope you see that, this is not the $1 million trade right here. The irony of it all is that there's lots of these little ones that are sort of sneaking by the radar that people in the public are just not paying attention to. Kind of like that Luna trade that I showed you today. That's the kind of market that I think you're going to make fortunes on. And it's so fun because there's all these little altcoins that I've just been pieces of shit. Nobody likes them. And I'm like, fuck it. I'll go and pick some up off the bottom. Let's see what happens. And I thought this was hilarious. This is one of these charity coins. Totally. I mean, look at this. I bought some here. Oh, wait, nice trade, Brian. Way to go. Thinking, okay, well, I'm going to buy against lows, right? That's not a bad idea. And if anything, this is a great analogy of the, nanny nibbles, keep the bets really, really small. You like the idea, but you're just going to slowly come in, just slowly come in, just slowly come in. And you can see here I nibbled, and then the thing absolutely fell apart, so I went and nibbled some more. There's my average, and boom. Now I have a free position in this AID. I mean, really, I don't know if this thing's going to reinvent the wheel or not, but, charity. I mean, they get a nice shill going here. These charity coins, man, they are in the sweet spot of the market. And I always say, the longer the channel, the bigger the something. So perfect example. Yeah, now I've got a risk-free trade. Who cares? Just throw it on the pile. And I mean, it's so funny. Risk-free trade, risk-free trade, risk-free trade, risk-free. Oh, Ubic and Geo, man. I mean, I love these stories, but they haven't moved yet. And they're just sitting there driving me crazy. But it's just like the 8. Oh, look at that. Ubic came out with their NFT poster, and that was it. Poor old Alex. Did Alex come on the Daily Brief last week while I was gone? I remember he was kicking around the idea. So, I don't even really mind. Maybe we can get him to come on next week. I don't even really mind just accumulating this thing. If you haven't gotten in here, it's still just sitting at the bottom end of the range. No idea what their plan is, but you know me, I'm a location kind of guy. And one of their big claims to fame, of course, is this Geo, and I like Geo. And look at that. They left me behind again, the bastards. But anyway, I've got a whole bunch of this. We're just coming up into, I guess, probably recent buy levels for me. So this is a name that hasn't performed yet. But a good portion of these names, and I, like I said, I threw this on the screen just probably a couple years ago. And just accumulating away, and now almost all of them, except for some reason, Ubic and Geo, and I don't know, maybe it's because they're Canadian, I don't know. They're about one of the only ones on this whole list that hasn't spat out doubles yet for me. I thought it was interesting to see that. A couple of these, actually, I really like this ONT right here. This looks really interesting. So, got a nice Wyckoff check, boom, 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 right in here. I had a stink bid against that level. You can see I got filled here. I got another bid to buy some more down at the bottom. So I like that. That's and you tell me. Actually, this isn't the best chart, but some of these charts, man, I mean, they just look a million miles away from their highs. I don't know where the best place is to look at this thing. Has this got any history? Yeah, there you go. I mean, so if this thing ever gets its act together, is there any money to be made on that? I mean, I don't know what's going to happen here. But if I throw 0.01 BTC at this thing, is it possible that 0.01 BTC might turn into one full BTC? Well, believe it or not, that's only a move to where? 28, so that's a move to there. Is that even remotely possible? I think so. That'd be 100x on your money. So that's unfortunately where I think the opportunities are in these kind of markets. You could have made the same logic here, right? And said, well, it's got to get up into here. And I'm still waiting. Yep, you're absolutely right. That's why I like to call it Nanny Nibble, little old lady. I'm not in a big hurry. I just got my money working in the market. And if and when the pop comes, then, of course, we pay ourselves. Interesting, corn. Ethereum, different looking story. What I would like to see here, remember I said before, if we can somehow get just a quick, violent, F you to the face, big honking dump here down to $1,000, I think that's an absolute gift of a buy. I don't really have a top here though. All right, we just made a new high. I hate when they do these. This is basically a diamond pattern. So there's no, I'm just going to eyeball it, right? There's no real, actually, I don't even know if I would call this a diamond. That's an expanding wedge, really. That's messier than hell. Probably should see at the very least a test of these lows. Maybe that's what happens when, into that U.S. tax deadline filing. Could be. Geez, made new highs here just a few days ago, dumping to lows, so very, very wide trading range. Obviously, if you just did fibs up into this area, 78.6, 88.6 against this old high, that's probably where you're going to see traffic. So if you're like leverage trading this thing, I'd keep a real close eye on how price acts up here. Inside bars, divergences, stuff like that, be careful. And then on the buy side, same sort of logic. Boobity boo. So we dumped right down into 78.6 into these tails. It's not a big surprise. She firmed up a bit there. And right now sort of caught in no man's land. Probably a little too expensive to be a buyer, a little bit too cheap to be a seller. Just sort of sitting there in no man's land. And I wouldn't even be surprised in this U.S. tax deadline that we probably are going to do something like, where is that? I guess that's right there, something like that. So we're probably just going to go but we'll see. That's just talking out my ass. No idea what's going to happen there. So what have I been buying here recently? I bought a few little things just for fun. Of course, I did buy, I took a leverage trade before I left on Aave, but the bottom was broken on that dump, and I got tons and tons of sell signals all over the place. So I was just like, you know what, no sense in being a hero. Let's just get the hell out of there. Where is that? That was this thing here on this dump here, and I think I saw it like here, so I was just like, liquidate it, get out, gone. Yeah, right here. So I liquidated it right in here. Is there anything for me to do on this bot now? No. If I was botting this, I have to redraw my levels. Doesn't surprise me what's going on here. Keep in mind, this is Tether Aave on Binance, slightly manipulated, probably. Did they go after the stops? Probably. And as I told somebody else earlier today, the most important thing for me is that I've worked with my setups long enough that I know that when the market's happy and healthy and it's just zooming along, bang, doubles, triples, whatever, they come fairly fluidly, simply, not really thinking. It's not really a commentary on how smart I am. I'm just there taking the trade. But when you start seeing anecdotal evidence from the marketplace itself that it's not nearly as strong, that, hey, they're running stops to the downside, what the hell? That's a message from the market that, hey, this asset's not nearly as strong as you think it is. And that's what I'm really respecting here. I don't know what the fuck's going to happen to this thing. But according to my model, that if this demand for this asset was so poor off of these lows that they were able to cascade right through these lows here, which they did, then that's a message from the market saying this asset's not nearly as strong as you think it is. So I'm a type of guy where I'm like, if I was right, I would have been paid this amount of money. But I was wrong, I could lose this amount of money. Take it, get the fuck out. I don't need to be here. The only reason why I'm here is because I thought maybe that the market was pretty strong and we were rocking and rolling. It's not the case. Just get the hell out. Walk away. Next bus in 10 minutes. So that's an update of something that I got stopped out on when that market sort of melted down there. Interestingly enough, though, I actually had some stink bids working on some funny little things. And this is sort of how I like to play the market is I like to just go down my list of assets and just say, okay, what's cheap? And should I maybe go pick some of this up because it is so cheap? What the hell did I do with it? That's weird. Okay, well, I thought I put them on here. I must have put them on a different page. Well, here, let's see. Where can I show you? So I picked up, actually, I posted them in my room. And, these things are not going to be exciting. In fact, they're probably going to be boring as stink. And you're like, you're buying that? You got to be crazy. But that's just the kind of guy I am. I'm a weirdo. So this was interesting. This was... I think I posted, yeah, there's the Aave stop. Did get a couple doubles off. Actually, this one, there's that AID like I told you about. Great to see I got a nice free position there. NLG, this one actually took off the day I was leaving. I was like, what are you doing? You're not supposed to be rallying now. But there's a good example where basically this thing came in. Nobody was interested. Saw the W. I was like, screw it, man. I got to get some. So great to see you got a free position there. But that actually freed up a bunch of Bitcoin that I had to go and spend. So interestingly enough, off of Aave here on Trex, actually I don't mind this reload zone setup. There's the FU move that busted out the bot. versus Tether. But versus Bitcoin, actually, I don't mind this. And so, ironically enough, on the dump that stopped out the bot, I actually got filled on a reload zone trade. So I did a little bit of buying there. Here's a couple pieces of wonderfulness. I told you about the ONT, so I bought that W. What the hell? Got another bid working off the bottom. Bought into these funny little names. Crown. I have no idea. This thing might be a total piece of crap. But look at that range. That's ridiculous. And when I saw this sort of bumping along here, you can see that clearly the people that bought in here, there's a major horizontal support and resistance failure level. And you can see the fight that they're trying desperately to recapture it. So I was like, what the hell, man? I'll go and pick up a little bit of this. And I've even got a bid working. But these are incredibly small trades. 0.01 BTC. Like nothing. Look at this. It's 300 sats. I mean, what does it take for me to get a 10x? That's a rally back up to here. I'm not saying it's going to happen. Not saying it whatsoever. What's the odds of this thing doubling? Well, that's a move up into this level, up into this wick. Is that realistic to get my 0.023 BTC back in my hands and get some free coins? And then if this thing does 10x, well, that's just gravy. That's the kind of stuff I like to do, right? Just buying stuff that nobody in the public is interested in. I think that's the same trade. Is that a different one? This is another one. Oh, yeah, Crown. So that was that one that sort of zoomed in. I thought actually I bought another one as well. So anyway, ONT, the Crown, boring. The Aave, interesting nanny nibble, even though bots got stopped out versus USD. So that's actually what I was doing while I was away. Not really exciting. There was another one or two of them that I bought. I know I bought that FCT. Factum. I was really surprised why this thing collapsed. I think it's because this thing is directly leveraged to the Bitcoin price. But look at that chart. I mean, you tell me. Doesn't that looks kind of attractive? I mean, look at this thing. Where the hell's the top? Oh, there. 2017, it was up at, what is that, 0.012. I mean, is that worth maybe just going in and just picking a little bit up off of? Look at what happened when it W'd. Bang! Look at that rally. Woohoo! So, I don't know. I mean, it sure looks interesting to me, so I went and picked up a little bit of that as well. But boring, right? You're probably hearing nobody shill this stuff. In fact, there was last time I did one of these public videos, I told you about another thing that I was buying. And as I was saying that I was buying it, somebody comes out and goes, oh, that's a dead coin. Like, okay, great, wonderful. Interesting how it banged into the 200 SMA there, and then with the Doge, I guess it just collapsed. But I don't have a problem buying this. I mean, you tell me, has this thing got any room to move up here? Maybe it's a dead coin. I don't know. But at 4,600, where do I get off a double and get a risk-free trade? That's a move to where? I guess 9,200, somewhere in there. So is it realistic for this thing to trade back into this level here? That's even buying today. I think I'm long from down here. But is it realistic to think about that thing just brushing up against the bottom of the POC heading into this summer silly season? You tell me. So, interestingly enough, it's fascinating. Like, the thing's actually up versus USD here today. So, not quite sure what I was thinking off of there. But anyway. So, I've done a little bit of buying. Yeah, look at this Doge. I mean, it's 25 cents. Geez, didn't it top out at like 50 cents? So, just, wow, look at that move. So, is this... Yeah, this is versus dollar. So 44 cents came all the way down to 15 cents. Man, I should have probably loaded back up on that. Wow, what a drop. So, you know, what a great analogy, people. For God's sakes, when these things pop, pay yourself. Probably need to see that. There you go. I'm going to show you in regular terms. I mean, wow, look at that volatility. So, let's see. I've been blabbing away for a couple hours. Corn, range bound. So proud of myself for selling a bit up top. Got my stink bids down below, but I still like the idea. Maybe in the middle of May. Remember, I don't know whether you guys have ever heard me say this before. Bitcoin never does well on my birthday. Never. Never, 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 never. So my birthday's coming up here middle of May. So don't be surprised if you see Bitcoin a bit soft. Did a little bit of altcoining. Like I said, did a little bit of buying. Did a little bit of selling. Just running my small business of trading. Just having fun. This CND caught my attention recently. I keep an eye on that. That looks interesting. Something's perking up there. Yeah, stuff just doing. Oh yeah, I haven't talked to you guys about this today. Look at this crazy ass coin. So, whoops, not that one. Oh, they're all crazy ass coins. This one. Good old BitTube. Look at that chart, son of a gun. So, and here's a great example. I even put a tweet out here earlier today. I said, here's an example where you can actually go in and be long from lower than where I'm long. I don't care. Aditya, you can learn everything about key reversals in the Level 1 school program. Spend a whole week on candlesticks and candlestick patterns. So if that ain't a sales pitch for you, I don't know what is. Woo! Whoa! I'm sitting on one of these balls. You know, these, what do you call them? Exercise ball things for my back. And every once in a while it goes, woo! Just got away from me there a moment. Okay, I've been blabbing away here for a good couple hours. I don't know, did anybody get any value out of that? Usually I like to ask Colleen whether we got any value today. Mind you, wow, not many people showed up here today. Hey, Colleen's made it. Hey, Colleen, how you doing, ma'am? Like to see her and her husband just own crypto. Well, let's see. I guess we can take a quick boo at any MIT and others are working on ways to make Bitcoin quote unquote safer. Yeah, what a joke, eh? Michael Saylor is the new McAfee. What happened to McAfee? I wonder if McAfee is you don't hear too much about him anymore, right? Hope he hasn't been turned into somebody's bitch. That would suck. MIT and others are working. I gotta run now. See you later. All right, Colleen. Well, did you get any value out of all this? Sure hope so. ENQ. What's ENQ? Can you please explain? Aditya, take the school program. Did you hear about ENQ? Intercom. Each smartphone can become a miner. Oh boy. The only problem with that is has the price been bid up? And you know what we really want to do is we want to juxtapose good fundamental drivers with good price charts. So it's only traded on KuCoin. That's probably not a good sign to a guy like me. This is almost kind of like Trex. If it's only listed on one exchange, it gets a little dangerous. Maybe this thing's the whole DeFi thing, right? Is that how it goes with this? Yeah, so, you know, interestingly enough, if somebody in the public comes to me and says, well, Brian, you know, I got this hot story and going to be added to this exchange, that exchange. I'm the type of guy where I go, well, okay, well, you know, in this example, there's your buy signal right there. So, if you were here then, awesome. If you're asking me about it here, no. If you're asking about it here, nope. 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 Alright, look at that. We finally got back down into that original bottom area. Oh, looks like they came back, eh? There's a W. Then you notice, you know, you ask me about it here. And I'll go, nope. How about here? Nope. Coming back down against these lows. Okay, let's see if they hold. Ooh, they broke the lows. All right, well, now I'm really interested. Can we W? And hello, look at what happened here. You could have come to me on this day and said, well, Brian, do you like that there? And I'd go, yeah, that's not a bad Bad idea. You're going to buy this clearly defined level. You could have bought it there, and you're going to risk to a break of the lows. Kind of like exactly the same as this. Identical. And woohoo! So you ask me about a name that looks like that. What do you think I'm going to say? I know I've been the bag holder selling into resistance after fatigue. Oh boy. I want to better understand the sets of buyers and sellers at different stages of a bull bear. Help to put faces to formations and then abstract that away again, knowing what's behind the charts. That's kind of cool. Really simply put, if you hear somebody coming out on social media touting a story, you can just stamp right on the chart, we are in tout mode. And probably the odds are you probably missed the trade. Usually the trade comes in on these things when nobody's interested. How many people are talking about that BitTube right now? I know that Justin Sun guy. I mean, he is like Mr. Capitalist 101. If anybody's going to make a cryptocurrency move on some big news, and maybe he's going to go on CNBC and suck somebody's penis or something, who knows? But that to me, that chart is saying, hey, you better pay attention to this thing down here. Usually when I say something over the top like that, people go, whoa! But look at that, I didn't get anybody say anything today. No? Oh well. Okay, well, Brian's making penis jokes, so it sounds to me like I'm probably hit the end of my rant here for the day. But a name like that, couldn't really touch it. Just sort of middle of the road. Okay, everybody. I guess I'm back on my post. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Did hear some people say they got some good value, so that's good. Really going to be promoting the school program. If you are watching this video and you really don't know what you're doing with your money in the marketplace, this is a really, really good place to learn how to manage yourself, how to manage your behaviors, how to manage your emotions. I told somebody recently that actually, you know what I do? I am a behavioral consultant. To hell with advising. I don't want to advise anybody. I want to consult on your behavior. And frankly speaking, some of your behavior is a little bit FOMO erecti. So let's get rid of that kind of stuff. Let's get you set up acting like a professional in the marketplace so you can just come in, day out. Doesn't matter what the market state is. Doesn't matter who's in control politically of this faction or that faction. You're just running your small business of trading, and ironically enough, the FUD usually drives prices down into buy levels, so you actually have to set yourself up to be a buyer when everybody else is freaking out in the public. And then conversely, when everybody else is over the top euphoric, you have to force yourself to be a seller. So, ironically enough, with all the negativity right now, I'm actually feeling a little bit more positive. I hate it when everybody's like over the top bullish. That's terrible because I can't buy anything. I have to be selling and I have to be saying to you people, don't chase, don't chase, don't chase. And you don't listen and I get frustrated and then I hear about people blowing themselves up and greedy goblins and all that kind of stuff. And it drives me nuts. So if anything, now that the market's finally broken and it's starting to clean itself up, now is when the time you should actually be most interested. But how are you going to do that? You got to plan. You have to actually say, all right, prices are starting to come down into levels that I can participate. Now I want to start hunting for indicator signals. Sjord's wonderful engine. Oh my goodness. And I want to find price structure, bots, L-tangulators. And I just want to go out there and run my small business of trading. And what I'm so pleased about is TRI now is a full package, full community. We have just tons of vets that are just doing so well in the market. It's not just Brian, it is TRI. And if you want a safe place, You want a place where you're not going to get shilled. You're not going to get screwed over. TRI is that warm, safe place that I think I just can't stress enough. This is the best money you will ever spend in your life if you really want to get good at trading and making money from trading. Sorry, terrible shill, but it's the truth. I'm so proud of these people, and I'm so proud of this place. So God bless. Wish me luck with the boy, as you often do on Sundays, which I appreciate. It helps me a lot with him. And I guess we'll see everybody for a daily brief recap first thing in the morning. Have yourselves a great day. All the best. And the only thing left for Brian to say at this point is a big bye for now.